everyone. Today I have with me author Courtney Killian, and this is her debut book, Days of the Kill. And I am so happy that you agreed to talk to me, Courtney, because I loved your book.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you so much for saying that. That makes me so happy to hear that. You have no idea.
You are so young. I can't believe, I wrote an Amazon review for you, and I am kind of regretting it because I said, it's such an awesome for a first book, but I have to tell you, and I've been telling people that I talk to about this book, that I have read books by authors where their 10th book wasn't as good as your first book. Okay, so, I regret saying it in a way, but I mean, I guess that's what you're going to get as an author. It's your debut novel, so you're going to get, everybody's going to say, they're going to compare it to your first, this is our first book, and so you're going to hear that. But I have to tell you, I've read a lot of books. This was a good book. This book was so good. Let me just give you a little story of how good your book is, okay? So I have a lot of books I have to read every day. I do 2 or 3 of these interviews every day, depending on my schedule, right? And I had an interview this morning lined up, and yesterday, or the day before, whatever, in the beginning of the week, I like to read the books right before, okay? Because that's the way it's fresh. And because when you're reading a lot of books, characters get a little confusing. So I like to read them very close to. So I was supposed to read her book first. But for some reason, I picked up your book, and I started reading it, and I didn't want to put it down to read her book. I was so conflicted. I was like, no, I want to finish this book, so I'll stay up all night and read the other book, but I got to finish this book first. And I didn't want to, usually I'll just switch back and forth, but it is a testament to how good this book is that I did not want to put it down.
Oh my goodness. That is the best review I've ever gotten, so I'm so excited right now.
I am so happy for you. And I kept thinking today as I was getting ready for your review, for this interview, I'm like, I have so many questions, and I'm going to be very careful, okay? Because I don't want to, of course, everybody has questions about your book, but I want everybody to have the same experience with your book that I got to have, okay? So I have a favor for you. When we get done with this interview, when I say goodbye, I want you to stay on so I can ask you some of my questions that I can't ask on here, okay? Okay. Just because I have a little bit of ones that come up that I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask that one because that's too revealing. But I'm like, I'm just going to hold her online just so I can get you can give me 5 more minutes after this interview so I can ask a couple of little questions because I don't want to give it away. Because that's what you're doing when you're writing a murder mystery like this. You have to be so careful what you say about it because, and I saw that some people were being very, I do not usually leave Amazon reviews, but when I went on your page, I was like, some people are cruel, okay? And they'll say, oh, well, her description wasn't good. I'm sorry, when you're writing the description of a murder mystery and you're trying not to give away the book, there's only so much you can say.
Right.
Yeah,
I saw that 1 star and I was going, okay, you know what, that's a troll. He didn't even read the whole thing. He read the preview.
Right.
Okay.
He's giving you a criticism on the preview of your book, but I wish people understood that those Amazon reviews as a new author, they are so important, and I'm trying to be more consistent about leaving reviews for people that I like because I don't read them. I really don't. I try to stay, I will order my books from Amazon, but I try not to read the reviews because I don't want to be tainted by these people who have nothing of anything to say about the book, So I was like that. I just have to tell you that you are in a position when you're writing murder mysteries, there's only so much you can say in your summary. And I thought the way you handled it was beautiful, and he should just read the book. Okay? If you're going to be a hater, just read the book.
And then the 2 star, I was just like, you know what? They read the book, they didn't like it, that's fine. Not everyone's gonna like it. I still got their money.
That's so funny because I don't know if you ever saw the movie. You probably didn't see this movie, but it was NWA. It was their movie last year. And they had all these haters, right? My son and I always say this. The one guy said, oh my God, they're cracking your records on the streets. And he said, did they buy them? And he said, yeah. He's like, I don't care.
Don't care what you do.
They can do whatever they want with it, right?
Right.
Okay, so you are so young. You are a baby. You write a murder mystery that I can't put down because the character, she is, first of all, before I give this away, because I'm not sure if this is if you can tell me whether I can say this or not, is when you put her name on the last page, I'm not sure that I saw that in the book, like, because you're writing it as her, so I'm not sure that I was aware of her name. It was weird.
That was intentional.
Okay, so I'm thinking so I'm not going to say, the main character, the woman in the book, I became so attached to her because it was so tragic. At first it was like you hate her, then you feel sorry for her because you realize like it's just a tragic story. But let me tell you, that line you crossed for me hating her to then feeling sorry for her, that is very hard to do as an author.
That part wasn't even intentional. Like, as I was writing it, I was just like, I felt myself hating her more and more and more. And then I was like, wait a minute. When did I start feeling sorry for her? Like, I didn't even realize it until after I started getting deeper into the story. I was going, wow.
That is just crazy. Because, yeah, I can't even tell you the point that I went from not liking her to feeling bad for her. I think it was about 3/4 of the way, I have to say, if I had to pinpoint it. It was about 3/4 of the way into the book where I was like understanding her a little bit deeper. And, and her relationship with Benjamin is just, it's crazy. But, okay, I have to tell you that the people that did not read this, if they set it down, like say they read 5 pages and were like, no, okay, they don't understand that the setup that you did for that relationship and the tension that it leads, it was like, I was like, oh my God, she is a genius. Like the tension kept building and building. And at first you're like, what? First I was like, wait, this is crazy. They weren't even really dating. Or wait, they are dating? Or wait, he's just as crazy as she is. Like, it was... it was like the way you had that and the way you kind of wove their story together. I was just like, wow, that is just... I have never taken such a ride with a character, and yet it just kept leading... The what you didn't say kind of led to the suspension of where it was going. And I was making dinner, and I'm like, I'm making dinner, reading your book. And I was like, she's got to do this in audio so I can live my life, okay? Because I'm and so you should do it in audio. That is my, I'm a big audio person because I read so many books. I have the ones that do come out in audio. I'll carry my phone around with me. But you really should do this in audio. I think first of all, I think you'll get more, customers. And second of all, for people like me, it just makes me be able to live because I'm telling you, for the day and a half it took me to read it, I just, I carried it around with me. So I could have read it faster if I could have not put it down, but I had to actually put it down sometimes, so.
Yeah, my publisher has actually mentioned the possibility of an audiobook, but she's busy, I'm busy, so it's kind of been delayed, but trying to get there.
Okay, so this book was published in 2016, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I know that right on your website that you are working on another one.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
How fast is that? Because at the last post, I'm not sure exactly when you gave your last post, but it was like it was in the works and you were going through the editing.
Yeah. I've started a new job, and that's kind of put off the posting, and I've been meaning to get back to it. But yeah, the book that's closest to coming out is with the beta readers right now. And so after that, hopefully just a few minor adjustments, and then I can give it to the editor. So
well, if you need a beta editor, if you need a beta reader, I would gladly read your stuff. More than happy to, and give you my thoughts because, like I said, you as an up and coming writer, like I am so excited for you. I was like, when, I didn't see anything about you before I read this. I like to do that. I like to just read it. I came across your book on Facebook, I think. And like, I just, like, I like to go into it cold. And then I looked at, I'm like, oh my God, she's so young. Okay. So when you started writing this book, right? What did you, I mean, I read a little bit online because you had filled out a questionnaire that somebody had, asked you questions, and you kind of said that it just came to you in like a dream, and then you just got up and just started writing it. I mean, did it come like really quickly, like the writing of this book?
It did, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I was asleep one night, going to bed like usual, and then then I just woke up, and like out of nowhere, I was just like, I gotta write this book. I'm just getting this idea, and I gotta write it, and so yeah, it was interesting because I was just like, I don't know where this idea came from, but I can't go back to sleep. I gotta write it, and so yeah, it was. In the first night, I wrote like 6,000 words, and so that was crazy. And I think the first draft took about like 6 months because I wasn't really all that serious about writing it yet. And then once I did get serious about it, it just came really quickly.
Wow. I mean, that's the crazy part, is like, to be able to think, there was just so much in this book, like to be able to think like her, and to be able to, and was it really easy to write in first person like that, to like be in her brain as she was going through this stuff?
Yeah, I would have to say it was pretty easy. Because I mean, I call her my evil twin, and so yeah, so it was kind of easy to think like her, because it's kind of it was kind of in my voice as well. Mm-hmm. But I mean, obviously there are some things that are not the same.
Right.
But yeah, I would say it was fairly easy.
That's awesome. So are you going to stick with this kind of a genre? Is that what you're, is murder mystery like going to be the thing that you do, or do you just don't care, like whatever comes?
Mostly whatever comes. I do have a few other murder mysteries that I'm planning, and there's others, but there's a few that are like thrillers, even a romance somewhere in there, and so yeah, they tend to be on the darker side, so that is pretty consistent, but there are other genres.
Right, and people out there, that it isn't really like, I have to say, they're not really my genre, like, but I like reading everything, so it doesn't matter. But like, if I'm going to go into a bookstore, I usually tend to go toward historical stuff and everything. But every once in a while, I'm like, I want to read a good thriller. Like, I want a book that I'm just like turning pages, as fast as I can. And I think everybody feels that way, especially right now in this day and age. Like, everybody, it's an escape. And everybody loves that book that they can't put down, that really has them going. And you really had me going, okay? I had no idea how this was going to work out, okay? I had no clue until, and I have to tell you that even today, before we did this interview, I reread the last chapter, like the last couple of pages and then the last thing, just because I wanted to refresh myself. Like, it just was that great of an ending. Like, I wanted to read it again. So, and with thrillers, how many times do people actually read a thriller again? Because you already know what's going to happen. So that's not a book where people were like, oh, I think I'll read that again, But I love the ending so much that I just wanted to read it again, I just wanted to relive that. So I am a huge fan, Courtney. I am. I'm like, I don't know how many fans you have out there. I'm sure in the cyber world you have hundreds of fans, but, I'm like your first today or yesterday. I mean, do you have, like, with social media, like, do you have people that are like, like, come on, Courtney, write another book. Like, we're waiting for you to write another book.
Mostly that's one of my friends. She read. She's the only one that's really been like, come on. Her and my publisher, but
you know what? Your publisher is a good person to say that. Okay.
Yeah, and but yeah, she was like, but when my first one came out, I hadn't talked to her in a while, so I didn't even know she was gonna buy it. But she was like, "Oh my god, I love this book. When is your next one coming out?" And I'm just like, oh.
You're like, I'll work on that. Yeah. Well, you know what? I am going to, there is a huge thriller fest in New York City in July. And since I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm actually going to go because of the writers that I've met, through doing this channel. And I want to go get my books signed and everything. And, you should look into that because that would be an amazing place for you to showcase this book, in whatever area you're in, Fort Worth, I guess, in that area. Like, you should definitely look that up because, and I'm sure your publisher will get you out there because people need to know about you. Okay? That's my advice. That's my motherly advice to you.
Yeah, I'd have to see them because we're actually planning a trip to California, our annual family vacation in July. So I'll have to see when.
You know what? And a lot of those Barnes and Nobles I hear have been really showcasing authors like you. New authors that they'll let them like set up a stand and sign books for people as they come walking in. I know a lot of my authors that have done that. Even ones, and you have a publisher, like ones that don't have an editor or publisher do that. And so it's just, little tidbits of advice for you. And because I really want to see you this is what you need to be doing, okay, full time, because you are an amazing author.
Full time.
Yeah, and what is the name of your new book, just so we know?
It's going to be called The Child of Fault.
The Child of Fault, okay. Can you tell us any little thing about it?
Well, it's going to be about this young girl, 2 years old. She wakes up one night and finds her father's gun and ends up accidentally shooting her mother. And the father gets blamed for it. And it's just the adventure of being separated and redemption and love, and it has all sorts of twists and turns in it.
That sounds amazing. And, I was thinking that, after I did find out your age, and I was like, the things that you write about, with these adults, I mean, you really nailed it for, like, not having experienced some of this stuff, You did a great job with it. So, anyway, here it is, everybody. This is her book, Days of the Kill. And I am so happy that I read it. You have no idea. I will put your links below this for everybody who wants to click and find Courtney. She's, all over the place. She's got websites. She's got a blog you work on, sort of, kind of. You shouldn't work on the blog so much. Work on the book. Work on the book. Do that. But anyway, you're going to stay with me, okay? Don't hang up. I'm going to end this recording. So everyone, read Courtney's book, and we will talk to her when she gets her next book out. I know that I'm going to have another discussion with her. So thank you so much, Courtney.